Hello, friends. Welcome to the Nope Coach podcast. This is episode 496. I'm Suzanne Kohlberg, and today I am done with being told I'm too much. So recently I started a community on School. That's Skool, if you haven't heard of it. Sexy platform. I'm truly enjoying it. And it's called The Done Era. And, you know, because there's so many things that I'm just done with. And I was just before hitting record here now, chatting to a friend on Voxer. It's a voice messaging app if you don't have it. And she was like, "Thank you for the private podcast." And it just had me thinking. I was like, I could make this rant public. Maybe. I haven't been sure about the shape of this show because if you're new, this is your first episode, welcome. I've recently moved interstate. I'm recently reshaping my business. And yeah, I still am passionate about boundaries, about helping people, particularly women, say no and put themselves first. But I've entered what I've called my done era. Hence why I made the community on School about it. And my current pet peeve is being told that I'm too much. I'm so fucking tired of being told that I'm too much, that, my content is overwhelming. I create too much. Here's the truth. I'm not holding anyone down and forcing them to read or listen or watch. You're an adult. You get to choose what you consume. So don't put your inability to set boundaries back on me. If you're got some weird thing that you have to read, watch, listen to every single thing, that's your shit. It's not mine. Like, one of the things I love, I'm a prolific reader, TV show watcher. If I find a show that's well established, like recently I found a podcast that had like 300 episodes and I was like, holy shit, it's Coronation Day. For those of you who are Frozen fans, you'll get that reference. Because I was like, I can binge listen through hundreds of episodes if I so choose. And then when I press play and that episode doesn't float my boat, I can press stop and go to the next one. Whereas some people seem to be so obsessed with needing to listen to every single thing from episode one through however many, and then messaging me and telling me which guest they liked and didn't like I somehow was surveying and asking for that. And so, where I say, like, I'm done with people saying I'm too much, what I want to chat about today is, why do people say that you're too much? Because really, it's rarely about you, it's about them. It's about them feeling stretched or confronted or inadequate. Like, when someone says, "You're too much," what they often mean is, "You're doing what I wish I had the stones to do." Or, "You're making me feel guilty for not showing up for myself." Or, "I'm scared of my own choices, so I'll make your choices the problem." And this is projection disguised as feedback. So if someone says to you, "You're too much," like, I saw a shirt once and maybe one day I'll get it. It's like, if I'm too much, go find less. Like, I used to really cower down or back down to it and go, maybe I should record less podcasts, or maybe I should write less emails, or even now, maybe I should post less in my school. It's my community. If you don't like it, I'm not forcing you to stay. And I think sometimes we take on others' projections, which is very rarely anything to do with us, and alter ourselves to fit an image that somebody else has, instead of saying that they're an adult and they have sovereignty over their own time, like putting the responsibility back onto them. You are not responsible for how someone else manages their time, their inbox, their podcast app, their social feed. "Oh, you're posting too much. I can't keep up." Don't. Like, this is boundaries 101, baby. You share, you create, you follow the divine inspiration, and they choose. End of story. Mic drop. Episode over. But I'm going to keep going because I'm on a roll now. I'm on a tear. Like, imagine I was cooking a buffet. You probably actually wouldn't want to come to a buffet I cooked. Side note, I'm not the best cook. Um, my husband actually primarily does most of the cooking. I clean, he cooks. But when the kids were at their old school, my son would often take in cookies or scones or things for the teachers. And I remember overhearing a number of times, or him coming home and saying, "The teacher said, tell your mum thanks for the cookies." And he's like, "Why?" "My dad made them." Anyway, tangent, back to my point. If there was a buffet that I somehow managed to cook or produce, I cook the food, but you decide what to put on your plate. You don't yell at me for making too many dishes. That's what's called leftovers, baby. You freeze them, you consume them in your own time. Like, does people ring up Netflix and go, you have too many choices? No, you just watch a show and you're like, today I'm feeling like watching The Rookie, and tomorrow I'm feeling like watching The Witcher. Like, I just get so tired of people, when I mean me, cowing to other people's projections. And it's like, yeah, that's not my responsibility how you use your time. And when people put their stuff onto you, you're too much, you asking too much or whatever, it can often result in shrinking. And if you buy into the too much story, you start shrinking. You water yourself down. You hesitate to post or record or send an email. Oh, I can't send another email. I've already sent an email about this. I don't want to overwhelm people. Like, you're not responsible for people being overwhelmed. That is on them. What about the people who are dying to hear from you? Like, there are some creators that whenever I see their name in my inbox, I can feel my face lighting up. I'm like, oh my God, what have they got to say? Like Sarah Knight, she's written a number of books. One of them is like the life-changing magic of not giving a fuck. And I love whenever an email drops in from her because it's like, hello, my little fucklings. I was like, I would love to have the stones to give my audience a name like that. Like, I don't think I could send an email. I'm sweary, 100%. But I don't know if I could ever open with hello, my little fucklings. And obviously that's her saying. But I love hearing from her. And sometimes she writes emails quite close together and sometimes it's ages. But instead of thinking about the people who are making you shrink and question yourself and, buying into their story that you're too much, think about the people who love to hear from you, the people who are inspired by your content and your creations and your sharing. Because you shrinking and second guessing and hovering and hesitating, it doesn't help anyone. Like, the people who need your full fire, the full, unapologetic, unfuckwithable you, they're like, yes. And the other people, after they've shrunk you down, are going to move on to the next person and tell them they're too much. Because who are you really serving by playing small? It's certainly not yourself. It's certainly not your right fit people. And are people entitled to their opinion? 100%. They can think all the things that they want about your work and you and whatever, but did you invite feedback? Are you open to feedback? It's funny, in our house, we name appliances. I don't know why, it's a weird thing. My husband named our vacuum cleaner Wendy, and my daughter named our, oh, what do you call it? Anyway, so the reason I'm mentioning this is it's my son's turn to name the next appliance. And eventually we're going to get the new Thermomix TM7. If you're a TM7 consultant, do not fucking email me. I'm not after a host. This is not a cry for help. No. Boundary set. But my sister was like, oh, you could call it Harold. And my son just looked at her and was like, I didn't ask for feedback. And she was so affronted. She was like, oh, how dare he be so rude? And he was like, I was like, is it rude? He didn't ask for input or suggestions. He's excited that he gets to name it. He was like, I can't wait till we get the new TM7 because I'm looking forward to naming it. And it's so funny. How often do you say something and people put their 2 cents worth in and, calling it out and saying, actually, this wasn't an invitation? Is it rude or is it just honest? And, I love it. Like, and sometimes I catch that now. If someone's saying something, I'm like, okay, what do you want? Do you want input, feedback, or do you want me just to say, like, observe what's happening for you? So I just think there are times when, you do second guess yourself. Like, especially those of us in business, we're creating a thing or we're putting something out there and someone's saying to you, you're too much or this is too much. And then you hold back and then you don't do anything at all. And I think this is where businesses become like a real pendulum swing. Because I remember I've written a weekly newsletter since 2017 now, so going on 8 years. And I, in the beginning of my business, didn't have a plan, a strategy. I just wrote when I felt like it and I didn't when I didn't. But, it roughly turned out to being once a week. And now I tend to send like a weekly newsletter. And someone said, like, oh, this is too much. And so I held back. And it's funny, when I held back, I felt disconnected. I felt muted. I felt silenced. I didn't feel like I'd lost touch with the thing that I love to do. And then you listen to the feedback from people because, now I have like 2,000 people on my list or something at the time of recording this. And I send a weekly email and I tend to get maybe about a dozen responses, depending on the email. And sometimes there'll be people going, oh my God, this is exactly what I need to hear today. And if you're one of those people, thank you so much. And sometimes, true confession, that's what keeps me going. Not like, woe is me in life, bar, but keeps me sending them every week because invariably somebody will be activated, triggered, put out, whatever, by something I've said. And I'll get some long diatribe about whatever. And it's kind of like, what am I doing this for? Like, this is a free thing that I'm sending out once a week of my opinions that you signed up for. You could simply unsubscribe. And it feels draining. It's like, well, what is the point of doing this? But then there are the ones who write back who say, this is exactly what I needed today. Thank you so much. There was someone recently, shout out, you know who you are. I've actually screenshotted it. I'm going to call it up. I didn't ask your permission, so I won't name you, but I got this message and it says, here's an itemized list about what I love about you. You keep it real, you're hilarious, you're intelligent. Thank you very much. You're quick on your feet and always add a lot of value to the conversations with your guests. You're not afraid to try new things and experiment. Yeah. You share tons of stories and you inspire and encourage us to be more us. That message, you know who you are, very recently was like, oh, this is why I do what I do. And I think, for every one you get like that, sometimes you get more that are, it's too much, it's too this, it's what I have going on. But for each of us, it's to connect with our inner well about, why are we doing this? What do we get from it? Like, I think anything, in business part of life, it's kind of like self first isn't selfish. Like, I do this podcast not because it's a money spinner, because it sure as shit ain't. But I get to free flow. I get to speak out stuff. I get to work through things with my voice. I get to speak to some amazing guests. I get to trial things. And I get to connect with some incredible people that I wouldn't get to connect with otherwise. And I don't edit and I don't script and I don't polish and I don't care about being the number one. Like, it's nice when I get, I think I saw the other day I'm in the top 1.5% podcast. Like, those things are nice and fun and yes, but they're not why I do it. If I was in this for the money, well, we'd be having some problems. But anyway, I'm getting down a tangent now. But what I really want you to take away from this, both me and you, is for all the times you've been told you're too much, you're overwhelming, you're too loud, you're too direct, you're too blunt, you share too much, you're too intense. The translation is you're hitting a nerve, you're alive, you're showing up. And I really want to invite you to see that too much, too loud, too direct as a badge of honor and not a criticism. Because the most of time it's activating something within them. Where are you doing what they're secretly longing to do? Where are you calling out something that they don't want to face? And where are you, if you do cower down and silence yourself, becoming over responsible for other people who are sovereign adults who can control where, when, and how they spend their time and energy? So I want you to think going forward, check in the mirror. When someone says you're too much, ask, is this about me or is this about them? Because before I had this feedback, what was I thinking about this? Like, before I got my school thing, oh, this is too much. It's so overwhelming. What was I thinking about it? I'm having the fucking time of my life here. I'm loving this. All my stuff in one platform, engaging, chatting. I think this is awesome. Set your own filter. So keep creating. Your people will self-select in or out. And some people on their way out, on self-selecting out, will be vocal about it. And some of them will be, more quiet, because you are in charge of lighting and maintaining and cultivating your own fire. Your job isn't to be digestible for everyone. I remember reading a quote, I can't remember who's attributed to. If someone finds it, let me know. But it's kind of like, I'm no longer going to water myself down for everyone else. Let them choke. And I'm not saying you're to go around and deliberately be inflaming. Like, it's not that. But if you being unapologetically you activates some people in ways that doesn't feel aligned, they can feel free to step out of your orbit. Like if you think of yourself as the sun, because we are the sun in our own lives, we're the leading lady, leading gentleman, leading person in our own lives. Some people are blinded by the sun. Guess what? They can put on sunglasses. They can step into the shade. If it's too much for them, if they feel that they're getting burnt or dehydrated, then it's up to them to look after themselves. Like it's coming into summer here. If I'm walking around outside in the belting sun and then I get sunburnt or sunstroke, whose fault was that? Suzanne, put on some long sleeves, step in the shade, take water with you, take care of yourself. Everybody who you're interacting with, everyone I'm interacting with are all grown ass adults. They're responsible for themselves. So I don't know how long I've been talking for now. Steps off soapbox. But the final thing that I really want to say is if someone is overwhelmed by you, that's their choice. You don't have to shrink down to make yourself more palatable. I will no longer play small. Part of my done era, the reason I created the community that I have on school, is that I'm no longer playing small so that other people feel comfortable. If I'm too much for you, then I'm not for you. That's cool. But for the people who need what I bring, it's always exactly enough. And that's the same for you. There will be people who have opinions about what it is that you're doing, sharing, creating, and they're entitled to those. But if they're pushy about them, or if they've given them to you unsolicited, or if they're giving you feedback that doesn't land for you, that's allowed to be their story and not yours. Because whatever it is that you're doing in your business and your life for your people, it's exactly enough. Thanks for joining me. Hope to catch you on the next one. Bye for now.